First miss in a few weeks, Mark. Didn't quite get the win this time, but they all went pretty good races over the week. You'd be still reasonably happy.
Yeah, the team went good. You know, we didn't get a win, but that's not the end of the world, and they all raced pretty good actually. So it was a pleasing result anyway.
Absolutely. You kicked it off with the two-year-old maidens, Rocket Boy and Major Wilson. What did you make of those? Major Wilson's run was really good. He was strong late.
Yeah, he was good. He got back from the draw. He had no choice and hit the line strong, which I'd like to see a 2-year-old do. So, as I said, he's a progressive type that should keep going forward, and how many more runs we do as a 2-year-old will be, you know, just we'll work it out. But he's one we're looking forward to around Christmas time.
Won't have too many more as a 2-year-old, Mark, because there's 1 month to go in the season. So there'll be 3 pretty soon, won't they?
Yeah, and he's had a couple already. So, yeah, 1 more, and that may be it for him. We'll just see how he goes this week.
I like him. I like him on top. I think he's going to strengthen up into a pretty nice horse. He's going to be a pretty handy horse as a 3-year-old next year, that horse.
Yeah, he should get better, and he's a late foal, so that's why we've looked after him. He's, you know, December 31st foal, so with a bit of time and a bit of strength, he'll be a nice horse.
Absolutely. La Rosa ended up going around in a pretty good race, but she met a good filly, didn't she? Gerard O'Reilly's filly, the Sweet Lou one. She looks like a smart horse.
Yeah, we always knew she was a pretty smart horse. She beat us fair and square at the trials the other week, and you know, if Gerard O'Reilly speaks highly of a horse, it's a pretty good sign for him. And you know, I was probably happy the way our filly hit the line. The last 100 was great, and you know, I'm always a believer when you win a race, you have a bit of good luck, and there's always some people that have bad luck, and we may have had a touch of bad luck, but in Sunday we got beat by a good horse, and you know, horse with a bit of a future.
One thing I do notice about La Rosa is she's sort of not quite ready-made, is she? I mean, Ricky's had to take it a little bit more cautiously in her first couple of starts, as you would with one of those more push-button type horses where they just come out and ping the gate. She's just not quite like that at the moment, is she?
No, she's just one of mine. That's a preparation behind the rest of the 2-year-olds. And, you know, she did go lay the boot in behind the gate the other night with Ricky, which she can do. She ducks the tail, which you've seen the sister, Dr. Susan, do a few times. So family trait. But, you know, one thing she is doing, she's developing more speed. She's hitting the line good and keeps going forward, as we've always said. You know, we think she'll be a pretty nice filly in time. And, you know, no harm in running second to Gerard's filly. And, you know, she's come through it pretty good.
She's going to line up again this week, La Rosa, is she?
Yeah, she'll be around this week, probably more than likely head to the paddock after this week and get ready for the better 3 or the late 2-year-old races, which will be next season. It'll be a bit strange to be racing a 3-year-old and 2-year-old races, but that's the way it's going. So we've got to look forward to, and yeah, she's paid up for this sales series, which is probably a main aim.
Okay, excellent. Lulu Le Mans, well, the run of the race just didn't go her way this time. It did the previous start, of course. This time it didn't, and she had plenty of petrol left at the finish, never really got a decent go at them, but you still would have been really pleased with her.
Yeah, we're at with her kind of first time up in that grade's a good sign. She competed pretty well and, you know, it was going pretty easy at the finish, running onto their backs. So, as I said, she was one that had a bit of bad luck on the night, but you got to have bad luck to have good luck. So we're definitely complaining. We got a horse in one piece, and she'll probably go around next week.
A few of the junior drivers must have been watching us, because what we thought was going to be a crazily run junior drivers race ended up being quite bland in total, really, and Queen of Dance just never got into the race, and that was the way it worked out.
Yeah, probably a couple of scratches changed the dynamics of the race with, you know, they didn't go very hard in the middle, and you know, they over the 1950, as I said, if you get back, it's very, very hard, and you know, Team Kiwi probably beat the free fallers the way it fought back to win, you know, the other night, and it's probably going as good as any mare in New Zealand at the moment. So we just had no luck from the draw, and so we'll turn the page. I'll probably try to keep it a stands, because she does ping away good, but in that grade, she's pretty limited to her opportunities, so we just take what we can get.
So she's still in the country, obviously. There's been a few looking at maybe purchasing her offshore. Has that just not happened yet?
Yeah, they just haven't come up with the right type of money the owners are after. I thought she'd be a pretty good buy for America or even Australia. So hopefully if we can get her sold, we'll still try them. But at this stage, there's no deal done.
Yesterday I watched Kowhai Sundown, and it was the old classic, really, wasn't it? A horse breaks maidens and goes into the next grade, and has to race against horses that have won 6 sort of races, and that it becomes very hard very quickly.
Yeah, it makes it hard. Like he come from maidens, and I think if you go to the races these days, everybody that wins the maiden trot, the first thing they say when they go across the line is, what do we do with this horse next? And Kowhai Sundown's probably a perfect example of that, and any maiden trot winner says the same. And, he just goes out and they go 5 to 6 seconds quicker than they are. And I think the first 3 home in his race the other day, or yesterday, were a 6-race winner, a 5-race winner, and a 4-race winner. So it makes it pretty tough for a horse just out of maidens who's won 1 race. So he just got to get used to that grade and try to find the right race for him. But until they program 1-win trots, we're probably not going to do that for a while.
Been asking for it for at least 20 years, Mark, and they've done nothing about it. And basically, those maiden trot winners are just, well, not all of them, but the majority are just cannon fodder for those older, tougher horses further up the line. And it can take you 2 seasons to actually reach that point. Where it's got to be a lot better. They've got to be better served, is what I'm trying to say. Those horses, there really needs to be an easier filter into racing against horses that have won a number of races over their career for a long period of time.
Yeah, it's a bit different, when your pace is dropping back to that grade to race the 1-win horses. They probably are out of form and deserve to be back there. The trotters are completely different. They begin quicker, they race harder, and they're better as they get older. And it's just too tough, these horses coming off 1-win race. So something that really needs to be addressed. I've been trying for years to get it done. I believe that they should have a 1-win grade only, and after they win their second race, then go into the rating system. But it seems to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, like a lot of things. Uber Express, she's gone great again. Was that career finished yesterday, perhaps?
Yeah, she just went down fighting again, but she's pretty lame, the poor wee thing, and didn't pull up too good today. So she's retired. She's off to the Broodmare paddock. So we brought her for a Broodmare, hoping she'd do a pretty good job on the track. If she stayed sound, she would have done a very good job. Probably a filly with a fair amount of ability, and she tries very hard, which kind of got her through it. So I don't like to be mean to my horses. We'll pull the pin on her now, and she's been good to us. So we'll probably send her to bed. It's delighted. It's a great family, and look forward to her progeny.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a family that we've said has treated you well in the past, and you would think that she's going to leave some pretty nice foals. So something to look forward to down the track. Added to that big broodmare band you've got going out there at Burnham.
Yeah, she's a good addition. Like she's a good size filly from a great family that there's not many fillies of, and a lot of good horses in there. So we're definitely excited about that. But the back paddock's getting pretty full of broodmares. We've got Rocker Band out there, Ari and the Labra, who's a super mare. Real Talk. We've got Harmony Delight out there now, which is a super bred, filly that's broken down, and probably had the Delightful Memphis and that to that, and a few more. We're getting a pretty good band around us, so it might be a few years to get progeny on the ground, but it's probably going to be a cheaper way than buying them at the sales. And with Plutonium Lady and La Rosa and that, and Rock and Joy to come through, hopefully I won't have to go to the sales to pay overpriced for them, and we'll just be breeding them from home.
Yeah, and then a lot of fun, obviously, breaking them in and getting them running along to probably sell them and turn a nice profit on if you're not going to race them yourself. So I think that's the way that you're going to have to head in the next few years.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, done a lot of driving and a lot of training and that, and that's probably another thing that I want to kind of get into and it's another challenge for me, this breeding. Like once you get into it, it's a lot of thinking, a lot of worry in that as well. And I think it's a good challenge, and to breed a good horse, and that would be a pretty big thrill. So that's one lot I'm going down, and with a mare like Rocker Band, I can probably start at the top. So whether we sell those on the sales or get them up and going, I'm a seller, so that's how we make money. And they'll probably all be for sale knowing me, but it's unless it's a champion. But in saying that, I sold a New Zealand Cup winner too, so we don't keep them all.
You can't keep them all, and the way forward has always been to trade in the horses, that's for sure. So, and particularly now, and the next point, obviously, we get to now is stake levels. We've had them come out and say that they're forecasted to pay what they intended to pay in this current season. I guess it's a good thing. Probably sounds better than what they were talking maybe a week ago. But can we expect it to be at at that level for an entire season, or is that just exactly what it is forecasted?
I think it's good news what come out, like saying that the stakes are going to be what they said. So I think it's probably positive news. I think you'll find with a lot less meetings, it means that they probably could keep the race stakes up a bit. I think the interesting factor will be how much they take off the big races and hopefully give to the bottom end. So a lot of horses only win one race, so it's got to be pretty important stake. Your first winning stake's got to be a pretty good one. So you got worries about places like Auckland with their financial situation, but I think in Canterbury, if we can get back up to what we were, it's probably a pretty good sign.
Yeah, I think so. Alexandra Park's sort of being the worrying aspect, I guess, at this stage, isn't it? Because they've run into a few issues over the last few years there with their apartments and so forth, which has really not helped their cause at all. And I know they're probably coming under fire a bit over the more recent times, but they've always been a club that's always attempted to give it a real go and pay really good stakes. And I don't think they deserve a kick in the guts while they're on the ground at the moment. That's for sure.
No, they've always done a good job. We've always wanted to go up there and race and support them, and they have always done their best, and they found themselves in an unfortunate situation and with the buildings and that. But hopefully, if they come out like they say they can, we can get back up there. But it's just where the cookies crumble falling for them, and hopefully it does improve. But at this stage, we're probably lucky we're still in Canterbury.
Yeah. So there's been some light at the end of the tunnel, at least for the racing industry over the last few days, and let's hope that it can continue on and get a little better. The light certainly wasn't there not so long ago, Mark. So I guess we've got to keep on fighting on, and as trainers especially, and owners that are holding a lot of money and a lot of investment in the sport, you've got to see some reason to keep going to realise a return, don't you?
Yeah, we're getting the stage. A couple weeks or last week at Addington, if you want to race on a Sunday, you'd be lucky to cover 6 weeks training fees. So with the improved stakes, even going up this week, it's a positive sign, and hopefully they keep improving. But I think there's a few more things they need to address as well. Like I'd love to see the field size down to 12 and pay back to 6, and then give everybody's got a 50% chance of earning. And I think that's a better way than paying back to last. I'm not too sure about this 2% to every runner, and just pay the driving fees. And even if the percentage split was probably better for the horses and owners, to run a place might be a better thing. We're lucky to get $1,000 at the moment for running second. So probably well above my head, all that stuff, but it's hopefully something that gets addressed. And I think what's showing in Canterbury, I just hope that the trainers keep nominating their horses, where the fields seem to be falling away, especially on a Friday night. We've got 7 and 8 horse fields, which is our prime time punting, and we need to make the most of it. So I think trainers need to lift their game a bit and nominate their horses, and stop trying to race for less money on a Sunday and turn up on the Friday. And the way the club are doing it, they will put you in the right race Sunday if you're not good enough for the Friday. So we're all trying to help each other. I don't think it's anybody pushing their own boat with this. I think it's the right people pushing it for the industry and the best in the industry, and the trainers nominate and start playing the game and not trying to play games with nominations, and that the industry will be a lot better off.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly right, Mark. We've got to go into the spring with some, spring in our steps, if you like, and so hopefully, we can be guided through in the right way, and owners can have an opportunity to run for some money, and and as I say, we've spoken about last week, in a race where you've got at least a reasonable chance. I think just going back to what we said the other day about the track being quick and that, you always found back in the day where you took a horse to the races and you were probably felt better about the fact that it just wasn't good enough. Whereas these days, like we said, you can go to the races and think, geez, we went so bloody good and we ran 10th and we ran the last mile in 1:56. That's we've got to get away from that. We've got to get back to the stage where it's like, well, if your horse is good enough, it's going to be competitive. We can't have this not being competitive when you actually feel as though you're going well. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we've got a system that if you're getting beat, you're going to get back into your right grade. So that's what it's designed for. And I think the mentality from when my father was training a lot of horses, they were farmers, and people were patient. And the problem we face now as trainers, everybody wants a 2-year-old, and more horses are getting ruined trying to make 2-year-olds. So most of my owners, all of them are pretty good actually. So if we didn't push the horses so early, we'd have a lot better product down the track. And too much money's probably put into the 2-year-old racing, and it's a pressure cooking type thing. But we've got to move with the times. But in saying that, if people do notice they turn up, and they will end up in the right races more times than not if they race enough, and that's what we've got to do. And with more horses racing, we get better turnover, and it's better for the industry, and the splits will be better for the system that we've got. So I just don't like this. I would like to see regional racing till the end of the season actually, to stop the Canterbury horses going down to Southland. Then everybody can kind of find their feet and find their way, because when you're travelling down to Southland, it's a hell of a lot of expense to the owners. And you might see me do the next week or two or a couple of weeks just because I probably have to, but I don't like doing it. It'll probably be under sufferance. But it's if we made the race regional, I think it would have been a good thing till the 1st of August, and then everybody was seeing how it worked, and everybody would be a lot better off.
To be honest with you, and this is looking from afar, but the Southland horses that are racing currently, they're actually not good enough to beat, the better horses that would head down and from Canterbury, and it's good to see them in the main competing against one another down there, and all getting the best chance they possibly can get anyway, because they're just not up to a standard. But there's a heap of them racing at Addington at the moment as well. We're racing in the middle of winter, we all agree, but it's good to see the Southland people being able to at least get $1. There's been a lot of upset results down there. You can't really pick and choose who's going to win those races down there in most cases, so which is great. I've never been a fan of seeing the Canterbury trainers go down there and take all their stake money away from them.
No, I think you'll probably see it a wee bit more once people start doing it. They'll do it more and more, which is taking money out of that region. But they're competitive down there, and everyone's getting their crack. Where up here it is getting quite hard, especially in intermediate grade. We're losing a lot of horses in that 58 and above, and our spreads are getting pretty wide. So it's our options may have to head down there. They have a pretty good program down south, where we don't have as good a programming here. So that's kind of a wee bit of an issue. But it's I could have easily took La Rosa down there last week and won a 10 grand maiden, but to put it on the float and charge the owners 300 or 400 whatever we charge them, when we got races half an hour from home, the owners can go watch them, and it's in the best interest of the industry to have it going around Addington in a good field, instead of going down there and probably starting $1.60 favourite. I think we've done the right thing by the horse and the owners, and also the industry. So as I said, it won't happen all the time. You probably will see me down there for the odd occasion, but hopefully I can just race at Addington. That's what we've always wanted.
Absolutely. Oh, well, let's hope we can keep making the odd little bit of a stride forward each week, and everybody can have a good spring and summer. I think, I was speaking to a mate the other day about this, and I said, I believe the big saviour that we've got in harness racing is our grass track season, and that brings crowds, that brings vibrancy back to our sport. And I don't think we've probably ever had a more important summer of racing coming up than we've got currently ahead of us, because if we can really attract those people to the racetrack like we do in the summertime at our grass tracks, it could be a real lift for everybody.
Yeah, I think everyone loves the grass tracks, the trainers, the drivers, and the punters, and the public love getting there. I think we're probably just in a rare occasion that we'll probably never have again, where our winter racing at the moment is actually our spring racing. Like all our, besides Purdon and Rasmussen stable, everybody seems to have their good horses out now, which is a pretty rare thing for the winter, and the programs haven't really catered for that. So we haven't really got the winter horses racing, and it'll just be interesting in the spring if these horses are still around. That would normally, with no jewels, everybody's kind of, in COVID, everyone had their horses back and work earlier, and they're racing now. So hopefully when the spring classics come along, that those horses are still going. So we're in a pretty rare thing, but get back at Methven on a good spring day with warm weather is what everybody's looking forward to, and I'm sure the crowds would be too.
Oh, totally. I think Methven, Motukarara, obviously Westport, all those places they're going to be super attractive for for people to go to this summer, and it's not that far away. So September's not that far away, Mark, and it's usually about the middle towards the end of September where Methven kicks off, isn't it? So it's not that long to wait.
No, it's probably just a shame that if people don't keep nominating, like some people turn their horses out for those meetings already, where they probably nominate, they could end up in the right race through the winter and be competitive. So, but just looking at nominations and fields, I think a few people going there and getting their ass kicked and are going to wait for those meetings. So I'm sure those nominations will be massive.
Well, a lot of horses just don't cope with Addington, Mark. Those grass track type horses, it just seems to be too fast for them. You know, you see horses struggle on those sand tracks when they're going 100 miles an hour, and yet they're a completely different horse when they get back onto a slower surface somewhere. So some of them just do not suit it, you know, one iota.
Yeah, it's just horses for courses. It's always going to be the way, but it's I'm sure everyone's looking forward to it. And you know, by the time Westport comes around, I'm sure everybody's looking forward to getting away for a few days and racing as well.
Totally. Well, that's good, Mark. Great to have a chat. We'll talk again about Wednesday, and we'll have a look at the team racing this week.
Yep, thanks very much.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark.